and the chairman and the ranking member for their work and leadership on this topic.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Chair recognizes Mr. Mast.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the expertise you both bring today, the work that you all have done. I'm over here, Mr. Ponder. I know you were looking for where we're at. I've read work from both of you over the years. I want to start with you, Mr. Ponder. How many times can you recall in speeches Xi Jinping talking about preparing for war?
Well, Congressman, last March, so less than a year ago, China held its annual two meetings, what they call them, the Lianghui, two meetings. It means the National People's Congress and another gathering called the Chinese People's Political Consultative Congress. Simultaneously, Xi Jinping gave 4 addresses to those to delegates to those two meetings. All 4 of them had the common theme of the need for China to prepare for war. And in the lead up, there were changes that were being made to laws. For example, making it easier to put the military in charge of Chinese society in the event of war. New rules to retain reserve military personnel for longer periods of time, particularly if they have key skills. New mobilization, military mobilization offices that have popped up in most of the provinces around China. Building air raid shelters right across from Taiwan, as well as starting to create authorities for building military hospitals that can do combat care. I don't take comfort in any of those signals, any one of them, much less the constellation that is painted by all of them combined. So I think that war is on Xi Jinping's mind. He's told us as much.
Anybody preparing for war, obviously they're looking at a number of different facets of where they could weaken their enemy. And whether that is through their military might, whether that's economically, whether that's in any place domestically, there could be a host of places that they try. What worries you most out of any of those areas that you see them working to weaken the United States of America as they prepare for war?
Well, I think that all of the things that add up to deterrence are built on one factor in particular, and that is hard military might, the credible availability of decisive military force. I worry that if we do not keep pace with the crises that Beijing in some cases is adding fuel to, we will not have sufficient capacity, munitions, whether it's torpedoes or anti-ship missiles, or the ability to build more of those things relatively quickly. It's not like the days of World War II with Rosie the Riveter, where you can build bombs on what the day before was, an auto factory quickly. These are very sophisticated munitions that, take sometimes years for those supply chains to add up. So my biggest concern is that we don't meet this moment that Xi Jinping is talking about as a moment where he can take advantage of what he calls an opportunity of 100 years.
We quite often in this body talk about the Belt and Road Initiative and largely focus on these, developing countries where they can, put a road in, extract something that they need for their supply chain to that effect. I don't think we look enough internally about where does the U.S. investor, the U.S. investment into China, how is that making us subservient to that Belt and Road Initiative as Americans, and where does that advance their preparation, or where could it pull their preparation back were that U.S. investment to decrease?
Well, the Belt and Road Initiative is really a vehicle for corruption. It's a means to expand China's influence around the world through co-opting elites and governing elites in foreign countries. There's a reason why most of the Belt and Road agreements that China signs with foreign governments are not available to the light of day. They are secret. Some of them have been leaked over the years, and they have these common patterns to them. They involve countries pledging assets. I mean, the things that belong to the people of those countries, whether it's a port or it is telecommunications and rail infrastructure. And so China is weakening the ability, really, of those countries' people to maintain something like a democratic. In some cases, they are democracies, and that democracy is at risk, or they aspire to be democracies and are undermined by the enormous debt and corruption that these agreements saddle on them. So that hurts our interests when corruption and co-optation of elites is the mode for advancing power in the world. That is terrible for our values and our influence.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.